Welcome to the third in the series of videos I said I wasn't going to make. So I'm making a liar of myself for the third time. This again is a compilation of, just to let you have a quick look at the guitars I built and the experiments I tried and what the results sounded like. First one is this one, quite a big chunky thing. It's as you can see, copper resonator. And I was browsing in a sort of junk shop come indoor market, and the proprietor, when I told him I was looking for materials suitable for making resonators and things like that, he produced this, which is a copper, I don't know what you call it, a salver, a card tray, something your butler had held out for visitors to put their cards on. Anyway, I'll give that a go. And I built the guitar around it really. It's just your basic three string. What can I tell you? The dimensions, it is 16 by 11 by 2 3/4. Strings 46, 30, 20. It has the pickup, which you can see there, the humbucker, and there are at least one piezo inside stuck on the inside of the copper plate. Now you'll have to excuse me, I can't remember how many I put in this one. It's a while since I made one of these videos. It's got some nice gold corners on it. These sound holes, you've seen them before, they are actually the half of a replacement eyelet kit. To put an eyelet in a canvas, either for a tent or a lorry sheet or something like that, sort of hole that your rope goes through. That's what those are, and they make very nice little sound holes like that, I think. But the important thing you want to know is, what does it sound like? Well, that's acoustic. Not very much. Put the amplifier on it. Now, I've wired it such that these are this switch here rather. This, what you're hearing now, is just coming through the piezos under the plate. Whoops. There's a bit of a problem with it jumping the tracks there, but I know what's causing that now. That. But when you come to the humbucker, now this is, I like this, listen to this. Is that not a lovely soft tone? Lovely tone. I think it's because copper's a soft metal, obviously. Put the two on together and you get nothing if you switch them off together. But if you put them on together, yeah, sort of medium sort of noise. Oh, and I also really, I suppose, show you what they sound like with the bottle on them. Acoustically, nothing. Piezos, that's a nice noise, I think. With the humbucker on its own. together, I like that. And the two together, whoops. There you are. Oh, I should have told you as well. He's got these rather nice little feet that look like the miniature version of a something off a pot-bellied stove, perhaps. But nice little. It stands on those as well. Although I did have to trim them down a bit to get them all to fit. But there you are. Nice little sort of thing. I'll tell you what as well. I can't help but feel that this looks like the sort of thing that a stage magician would sort of open up and show you it to be empty and then close it, open it again, and there'd be a head in there or a rabbit or something like that. Looks like a piece of a magician's prop is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, there we are. That's that one. Hope you like that. Sorry about the jump there. There's something I forgot to tell you. Since I last made one of these films, I've treated myself to this, which is a dobro slide, proper dobro slide, and this one, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, if you will. I like playing it like this. There you are. It's a small point, but I don't know how to mention it really. It's more a case of I'd have been cross with myself for the rest of time if I hadn't put that little addendum on. The other thing about it is, of course, the action on this. It turned out to be far too high for comfort for playing either, well, playing alright bottleneck, but any kind of fingering, no. But there we are. That finally is the end of that one. And on to the next one. What I've got for you next, those of you who've had a ferret about through my little collection of videos on YouTube may well have seen one called Jimbo Loses It, which is an outtake of me hitting myself on the head and then not being able to stop laughing. What I believe is known in the trade as corpsing. Well, this is the guitar which that was supposed to be about. I'm going to have to be careful not to flash the light and reflect the light from the wall lamp back into the camera, but this is it. And it is a chrome steel salver, and really I just built the guitar around it. The dimensions are, I've got my crib sheet here, 16 by 14 by 2 3/4. Strings are the usual 46 20, no sorry, 46 30 20. I'll get it right in the end. Piezo microphones under the underneath the salver. Not much else to tell you really. I just built it more or less for the fun of it. Got the tea strainers, are the sort of what should we call it? Steampunk, swamp junk, whatever you want to call it. This delightful business about making them out of anything. That was a speaker grill which my local electronics shop, he'd salvaged it from something he was making a new case for. So I got that. Here we go. What does it sound like? Well, acoustically not very much. With the bottle on it. terribly good, is it? But with the amplifier on, not got me playing that on again, have I? But never mind. It's all right, I suppose you might say. Just going to try it with a bit of echo. Not much better really, is it? And again, it will play dobro style. But for me this is more a case of well, I've made one like that with the out of a salver, out of a tray rather, with the tea strainers and the, you know, I've made one, so I know what they sound like, and that is what I intend. That's all I intend to do with showing you. The thing I do like about it, actually, it looks like the sort of box which might once have held a canteen of cutlery, which is another sort of bonus for it, I suppose. There you have it. What more can I say? Not a lot. Now in this next segment I'm going to show you no less than 7 guitars all in the one segment, and as you'll come to see, this represents a bit of a change of direction for me, for reasons which will become obvious. Now I've got a friend called Pete Horan who is a builder, and early last year he was refitting my kitchen for me, and he knew I was into building guitars, and because he was here, he'd had a look or two. I showed him a few, and he was asking me sort of what materials I used, and I explained, you know, anything I could get my hands on really. That's the whole idea, isn't it? But as I explained that I prefer to work in proper timber rather than plywood, and a few days later he came up with a couple of nice pieces of timber for me, of thin board, you see. And one of them, I fell in love with it instantly, as soon as I laid eyes on it, and I made this. Now, I'm hoping you're going to be able to pick it up from there, because I've already tried once to bring it to the camera so you can get a better look, but I'm going to see it in more detail, should I say, but unfortunately the camera doesn't like me doing that. When the people who built this furniture, it's obviously quality gear because it's solid timber, not plywood, or old even. But the thing is, they've joined 2 planks together to make a wider one, and knowing that it's going to be the underneath of a drawer where nobody's going to see it, they've not been too fussy about the glue, you see, and all the way along the joint, along there, and I think you can probably make it out, all the way along there is where the glue's dribbled out. You can still see the glue, and then it's dribbled down there, look, and there. So you've got these glue dribbles, which I think is wonderful. And then there's these marks, which I know you can see. They are a gouge, which is a groove, should I say, which has been gouged out. Obviously there's been something like a screw head sticking up, and the drawer's been pulled open and closed over it. Over the years it's worn that groove in there, and these little marks. Now, you can't fake character like that. Well, if it's possible to, I can't do it. And I took one look at this, and at the character in this lump of timber, and getting ahead of myself, on the back there's some more scuff marks and some more glue runs, and there's a lump there that's missing. which I think is probably where there was a knot, but cut on the slant sort of thing, so the knot's fallen out. And again, not fakeable. So I thought, well, this is going to make a really nice old retro looking 1920s sort of guitar. So I set to it and I made an ordinary 3-string. It's got an oak neck. I was at pains to make the machine heads not match. What else can I tell you? The tailpiece, and all it's got is a socket. There's no switches, no volume control, nothing. Those are Bakelite. I painted the bridge brown. That's just a piece of wood. The rest of it is the natural colour that the wood peak gave me. I've gone to the trouble of putting strips of wood on the inside and screwing it from there, so there's no screws showing either, apart from one there, a couple up here, one there, and I think there aren't any underneath. Oh yes, those, the tailpiece screws, they hold it down as well. But I try to keep it as simple as I possibly can. And as guitars go, does the sound really matter? Well, acoustically it's not bad. I'll plug it in and let you hear what it sounds like through the amp. It's quite a nice tone, I think. Now, cut and action. Sorry about that. You probably gathered I've got a streaming cold and I had to stop to blow my nose, and I didn't think you wanted to see that on me blowing me out on YouTube. Anyway, where was I? Yes, it's got a nice tone. Put a bit of echo on. As I say, I was very pleased with it. I'll let you hear what it sounds like with the bottle on it. Without amplification, not much. With amplification and no effects, and with a bit of echo. I like this. Now, the other thing of significance, or the first thing of significance which I should mention, is that this one, I've started making them. Some of them have got a 0 fret, if you like, which is a fret made out of bass guitar wire, which is obviously higher than ordinary guitar wire, and that represents fret 0, or the nut, if you like. And the actual nut there, which is clear perspex, that is just a spacer to hold the 3 strings, you know, where they should be. The actual nut is that fret wire. And this, then, I've got the string, allows the strings to be a bit lower, and makes it for fingering, you see. But you could, if you so wished, or as I was making them before. Sorry about that, another sneezing fit. Now, it occurred, where was I? Yes, I was explaining, wasn't I, that I've been making them, originally I made them with just the nut and took pot luck on where the strings finished up in terms of what the action. Then I got onto this idea of using a bass fret wire, getting a better action for playing with the fingers. But it dawned on me that you could actually make them in pairs, because the one that's actually better for finger picking isn't quite as good for bottlenecking. So you could have a pair of guitars, one for bottlenecking, one for finger picking. So there was an offcut of this left. Bear with me. So I made this. Now it's still got the groove in it, and the same kind of timber. The only thing is, there wasn't enough to make one of that size, that is 9 by 14. This is only 6 by 14, and I more or less resigned myself to 9 by 14 being the size that I make guitars. You see, just out of, well, habit more than anything else. And then so I made this one because I wasn't going to waste the timber. And I made it just with the nut. The strings are higher off the fretboards and it is better for bottlenecking. But do you know a curious thing? I found that it's a bit more comfortable to play with it just being, you know, that little bit smaller and lower down. It's hopelessly out of tune. So there we are, you see. I've now got a pair. One for finger picking, one for bottlenecking. Isn't that nice? Actually, I gave the big one to Pete as a thank you, because I really like this. And he'd given me another piece of wood, which was pine, and again it had been a draw bottom. But because I'd liked these dimensions, I then made myself a finger picking one out of the other piece that Pete gave me, which is this one. So I've now got a pair of guitars, one for finger picking, one for bottlenecking. And don't I love them to bits, I really do. So there we are. You'd think, wouldn't you, that a man would be satisfied at that, but but no, it's gone on from there. And if you just give me a moment, because I've got to blow my hooter again, and you won't want to see that. That's better. Awfully cold, isn't it? So I've got those two sort of old retro things, because this looks pretty old and battered in its way as well, and I like it. But I then thought, well, I've always wanted a sunburst one, so I made this one in sunburst. This is plywood rather than anything particularly nice. It's got the hardtail on, which I've been to a lot of trouble to get that right, and I still don't like it very much. But I did one in the sort of classic sunburst, metal corners, and then again on the top there, look, sunburst colours. And seeing as we're doing them in pairs, did one. This one is for fingering, and this one is for bottlenecking. And you will instantly notice your blues. And well, I was quite pleased with those, and I've got another pair of guitars in a more modern looking thing. Not that I've got any real use for them, you understand, but there we are. And leading on from that, of course, every home should have one. I made a twin necker, which I've been rumbling about doing for a long time. And this is the, as you can tell, that's the same timber that that one's made out of. Again, what can I tell you? The question is, what are your two necks to be? And I thought, bearing in mind what I've just said, that I would have one with the fret wire on, so you've got a neck for fingering, and then another neck with just the nut on there, the higher strings, higher action for bottlenecking. So you'll be playing away here, you see, and then whoop, up you go here. Not a terribly good idea, because no doubt it would get better with practice, but I find it very difficult to jump quickly from there to there without, well, you just see me do it. It's difficult to go quickly from one to the other without clattering the bottle or getting your fingers stuck, or so it's not really a good idea for that. You want to be playing on one all the way through the piece really, or you don't want to be changing every 2 minutes. You don't want to be doing them sorts. You could have it 2 different tunings. These are both open E. You could have it G and these are EBE. You could have one EBE, the other GDG. But the same difference in semitones between the strings. Or there is a tuning, various tunings I've seen. GGB, I believe, is one. This is out of tune, obviously. And I think that would be the way to go. If I was going to do this again, I'd probably make them both for finger picking or both for bottlenecking, but give myself 2 widely different tunings. But there we are. I've got a double necker though, just the same, and I have made one. I mean, maybe the answer would be just to make that gap a bit wider. I think it's a 3-inch gap, that. But no, I don't know. It's at least I made one. And finally, that abrupt stop and start wasn't to do with a sneezing fit. That was to do with the fact that I made a complete nut of balls up of the bit that comes next. So I shall try now to do a bit better. The only thing I've got to show you, the 7th one, is I made this one. Those of you who have seen the oil can guitar, it's the same thing but the new dimensions really. Plywood body, painted up with metal effect paint, solid alloy front. It has a bridge, which is a bolt, as you can see. These bolts here, they do actually go through. I've been to the trouble of threading them through, and there are nuts on the other side holding it in place, so it isn't going to slide about, and you can adjust the height with the washers, which is handy. It's got these little feet on, you see there, but unfortunately there wasn't room because of the width of it to put them on the back, so it's just got a lump there, but it does stand up by itself. Now, you want to know what it sounds like. You don't get much, in fact hardly anything, without an amplifier. Oh, I should tell you, it's got the humbucker there, and that's it, that's all there is. That's got echo on, so to just give you an idea without any echo. Okay, and with echo. Quite a nice noise. It is the pickup's quite a way down below the strings. I can't get it any higher. It's only its full adjustment. That's because the action is quite high for bottlenecking. But that is quite a nice little guitar in itself, and another one for the collection. You can see I've sort of, I was anyway, leaning towards the idea of redoing the entire collection of guitars in this new smaller format, but I don't think I will. I think I pretty much got where I'm going to get now with with these. Tried more or less. The only thing left to try now, which I do want to try, and I am going to try, is spinning my own resonator combs. Seen YouTube videos. How I get on with that remains to be seen. You'll see that in future YouTube videos if it works. But as far as this kind of guitar with different sort of resonating surfaces and dimensions and that sort of thing, I've got pretty much as far as I can, but there is something different to follow. So bear with me while I switch the camera off and get everything sorted out, and then I'll put all these back where they came from, and then I'll tell you about the rest of it in a minute. Not be long. Cheers. Right, here we go with a new departure for me. Dulcimers. Now what I knew about dulcimers in the first instance was that I just thought they were an instrument which was played across the knee with 3 strings and played by pressing down like you would on a guitar, not with a slide but with the fingers and just plucking them. And they were a very folksy sort of Appalachian hillbilly type instrument. Played by refined young ladies. Anyway, that's what I had in mind for dulcimers. But fact is, they're 3 strings, you see, and where it tied in with cigar box guitars is a matter of looking up the chords, because if I could find dulcimer chords, then I could probably adapt those and turn them into cigar box guitar chords. So that was that. Now I happened to be browsing YouTube, and I saw a video done by the first chap, I must say thank you to. He uses the name 1224 John Mac, and I noticed that he'd done a biscuit tin dulcimer, which the full title of the clip is Homemade Cookie Biscuit Tin Dulcimer Scale Cigar Box Guitar. Now I watched this with interest, and I learnt something from John, which was that as he'd done it, the top string, the highest pitch string of the 3, he doubled it to turn it into, you know, like you do with a mandolin or a 12-string guitar or a bouzouki, that sort of doubled it. The other 2 were singles, and it produced a very interesting effect. So I thought, well, I'll have a go at this, you see. The other thing was that he was explaining, which is something I already knew, I think, that dulcimers don't have the full set of frets like guitars do. They have a few missing for some reason or other. I think it makes them easier to play because they do say there's no wrong notes on a dulcimer. I don't know, but I thought what I would do was to have a go at making one and use this doubled string format, and I'd put all the frets on, because to my way of thinking, if you put the frets in, well, you've got them there even if you don't use them. And one day you might want them and you've not got them, so, well, but that was that. That's how I came to set to and try and build a dulcimer. And I'm sorry about the jump there, camera's battery died, but never mind, it was at an appropriate moment really, because now I've got to come to the second of my thank yous and name checks. It's for a firm called Welder Up, and they make customised hot rods, motor cars, and they're in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. And what happened was that I switched my television on with a view to watching something, and I just caught the last few moments of a program, the previous program, that you do, and it was a documentary about how this firm had built a model of theirs called their Stampede model, and it was based on a 1930 Model A Ford truck. Now it looked as if it had been left out in a field since 1930 because it looked seriously rusted through and oh dear, it looked a mess. But the thing was, you see, that I didn't see the whole programme, only the last few minutes when they were really, it was, all the building was finished and they were handing it over to the new owner. But it looked to me like what they'd done was renovated all the bodywork and then painted it back up very cleverly to make it look as if it had been standing out in a field since 1930. And a damn fine job they made of it too, as hopefully you'll be able to see from this picture. Now, I thought that having had, you've just seen the sunburst ones that I did, I was particularly pleased with the first one, the traditional red, yellow and black sunburst, and I thought it would be nice to have a go at making a dulcimer guitar. Oh, and I forgot to tell you as well, and also by coincidence I was in one of my local convenience stores and they were selling these tins of biscuits, buy one get one free, so I bought 4 of those and I gave all the biscuits away to my friends and said, here, get these eaten, I want the tins, you know. Anyway, there we are, you see. So I set to and I built a dulcimer biscuit tin guitar, just like 1224 John Mack had done. And then the idea was that I was going to try my hand, because I have got an airbrush. These t-shirts you see me wearing, they're my own stenciling, which I do with an airbrush. I'm no artist, but I've got an airbrush and a compressor, so I thought, well, I'll have a go at doing this this finish like they'd done on, like Welder Up had done on the Model A truck. Are you ready for this? Are you sitting on the edge of your seats? How does that grab you? Now, I must say straight away that I went for yellow to brown to dark brown to black in the hope that it would look like progressive rust to a whole, and it doesn't look like anything like that. Complete failure. Not really like Welder Up's paint job at all. Then again, I didn't expect to get it right first time, but what I really am pleased with it, because it looks to me like there's been something on fire inside the tin. That's what it looks like to me. This isn't rusting, that's burnt, and I really like that. I'm really pleased with it. But the guitar, as you can see, same format as John Mack's. There's a buzzing on it somewhere. It's doing its impression of a sitar, and I can't quite find out where it is, but never mind. And that's got the amplifier on. I'll just let you hear it acoustically. Not terribly good, to be honest. No. Now, acoustic with no echo. Nice soft tone on the bass string. Jump in the tracks, it does need something doing about that, and I think I will. This, by the way, is a little sweetie tin, which I saw in a shop, cash and carry actually, up in town, and the painting on the lid, very much in the style of Mooka, which I like very much. So I snaffled the tin, and again, I think I threw the sweets away because they weren't very nice, but kept the lid and it just filled that space nicely. What can I tell you? Right. I suppose. Put some echo on it, because I do like spotted echo. There you go, usual thing. Not very good, and the action very definitely far too high. It's alright for bottlenecking, it'll be alright across the knee I suppose. There we are, that was number 1. And I was quite pleased with the sound of it, but well, more trouble than it was worth in the end. I don't think I should be playing it terribly much. Oh, I also tried it with greens to try and make it look like it gone mouldy as well. Well, that wasn't too much of a success. But I then got to thinking that most of the stuff that I play, the Chuck Berry stuff, you know, that sort of stuff, 12 bar dusters, it all happens on the middle string. So I then thought, well, what would happen if you made one of these and left the 2 outside strings as singles, but doubled the middle one? You're getting ahead of me now, don't get ahead of me. This is it. Single, double, single. And again, with the paint job, I did it in these reds and blacks with the black shading there, like had something on fire in it. At least that was the impression I was trying to give. My picking was so hot, set the guitar on fire. Right, let's plug it in, let you hear what it sounds like. Because I am very pleased with this, I must tell you. Nice, eh? I like that. I like it very much. Oh, and another funny little thing. Who's that? It's Beaker out in the Muppets, isn't it? Bleep, 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 bleep. That was an accident. Pure accident. Yeah. I like this very, very much. I do. I think. I suppose the logical third thing to do would be to double the bottom string, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop at this point because this instrument, I like the others, don't get me wrong, I like the cigar boxes, the 3 strings, but this one's a bit special for me. It's just chiming right with the way I want to be able to play, so I think I've been putting off for a good number of years now, putting off the day when I would sit down and have to learn all the scales and learn music properly and everything. And really, I've been hiding behind the idea that I was looking for the right instrument, and I think this might be it, actually. So very pleased with that one. Once again, big thanks to 1224 John Mac and Welder Up, and well, that is your lot for the moment. I have got a couple more on the stocks in the workshop, so as you might expect, those who know me will tell you that comes as no surprise, but those are waiting for another day. At this point, that's the end of this one. Thank you for listening, and I hope you for watching, should I say, and I hope that if any of what I've shown you is some help to you, then well, that's what I've done it for, really, just to try and be some help to other people in the hobby. Cheers.